So this is a question I'm frequently asked. Clients will come to me saying they're experiencing all these symptoms of insulin resistance. They have a lot of belly fat, they have high blood pressure, skin tags, difficulty losing weight. However, their fasting blood sugar is normal. Is it possible for these people to still be insulin resistant? Insulin resistance is when the cells in your muscles, fat, and liver no longer respond to insulin correctly and cannot easily take in the excess glucose from your blood. This causes the associated side effects, but it can also lead to type 2 diabetes, PCOS, heart disease, and more. So it's not something to be taken lightly. But sometimes it can be difficult to know whether you're insulin resistant or not. Doctors don't routinely test fasting insulin. They only test fasting blood sugar. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about if it is possible to have normal blood sugar and be insulin resistant, and some ways to know for sure if you have insulin resistance or not. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Kate. I'm a certified health and nutrition coach. I post videos twice a week here on YouTube talking all things insulin resistance, weight loss, sleep, and more. So if you're ready to take control of your metabolic health, make sure to click that subscribe button. And you can also find me on TikTok and Instagram where I share new posts every single day. As I said at the start of this video, this is a question I am asked a lot. And don't worry, I'm not going to build up too much suspense before telling you the answer. So here it is, yes. You can absolutely be insulin resistant and have normal fasting blood sugar. And here's why. Insulin resistance isn't just something that you have or you don't have. It occurs on a spectrum. At the lower end of the spectrum, you'll have someone who is just starting to experience symptoms. Maybe they're having difficulty losing weight, or they've just noticed a few skin tags. But their fasting blood sugar is still within the range considered to be normal. And at the opposite end of the spectrum, you're gonna have someone with type 2 diabetes, whose fasting blood sugar is through the roof, and who requires insulin or other medication in order to keep it stable. People on both ends of the spectrum are experiencing the same issue. Their cells are not responding to insulin correctly. However, the person who has type 2 diabetes is much more insulin resistant. Because in the early stages of insulin resistance, when your cells are resisting the actions of insulin and aren't taking in glucose as they should, the body releases more insulin in order to deal with this excess glucose, and that's actually enough to keep your fasting blood sugar in check. But as your cells start to become more insulin resistant over time, more and more insulin is needed, and eventually it can't keep up. And at this point, your fasting blood sugar is going to rise to within the pre-diabetic range. And as even more time goes on, eventually you're going to develop type 2 diabetes. So for someone in the early stages of insulin resistance, and you can be in these early stages for up to a decade, their fasting blood sugar is going to be normal, but their fasting insulin is going to be elevated. Of course, this should make it pretty obvious how to know if you're insulin resistant. Just have your fasting insulin tested. However, this is easier said than done. Most GPs don't understand that insulin resistance precedes type 2 diabetes for such a long period of time. And so as a result, they only test fasting blood sugar. So if your doctor is not willing to test your fasting insulin, what are your options? Honestly, fasting insulin is the only way to know for sure. I would start by really insisting on asking your doctor to run the test because it does matter. It's not an insignificant number. And when you have your fasting insulin, you can use it along with your fasting glucose to calculate your HOMA-IR score. Basically, this test tells you how much insulin is needed to keep your blood sugar where it is. So again, your blood sugar could look normal, but there's a lot of insulin working to keep it at this level, which signifies insulin resistance. And this is why this test catches insulin resistance years before you become pre-diabetic. Now, if your doctor absolutely won't run the test and you're in the United States, I recommend checking out Sowell Health's Weight Biology Kit. This kit tests your fasting insulin, it tests your fasting glucose, it calculates your HOMA-IR, and it also tests 6 other biomarkers of metabolic health as well. This is an at-home kit, and once you send it back, you receive your test results with a report within days. Your results are physician reviewed, and with your report, you're gonna receive some next best steps you can take. If you wanna check it out, I'm gonna put the link in the description box down below, and you can use code KATE10 to save 10%. But beyond that, if you have a recent cholesterol test, you can use some of the numbers on this test as a marker for insulin resistance as well. And this is by looking at your triglyceride to HDL ratio. Take your triglycerides and divide them by your HDL. And this is a strong indicator of insulin resistance because having both high triglycerides and low HDL are highly associated with it. A ratio under 1:1 is considered optimal with good insulin sensitivity. A ratio of 2 to 3 to 1 is considered mildly insulin resistant, and a ratio of 4 and above is severely insulin resistant. Now, before we wrap up, I just want to say that if you suspect you're insulin resistant, it's highly likely that you are. How can I possibly know that? Well, this is because metabolic syndrome is actually the same thing as insulin resistance. Metabolic syndrome actually used to be called insulin resistance syndrome. And in the Western world, the rates of metabolic syndrome are extremely high. Over 80% of American adults have it, meaning that over 80% of American adults are insulin resistant. Now for some good news. Insulin resistance is reversible, and it's reversible through simple diet and lifestyle changes. I'm telling you guys, these don't have to be big changes. I have so many videos on the topic. I'm gonna link to one up above if you're ready to get started. But anyways, guys, that's all I have for you today. Let me know in the comment section down below if you suspect you have insulin resistance, but your fasting blood sugar is normal. What symptoms do you have? I wanna hear from you guys. If you did enjoy this video, you might also enjoy my video on how to improve your insulin sensitivity naturally, which I'll put right here. If you want to check out my most recent upload, you can find it here. And if you want to check out my 7-day insulin resistance masterclass and my other coaching programs, you can find those here. Thanks guys, I'll see you next time. Bye.